This video is explaining the basics of keto and ketosis, but we've labelled it body basics because it needs to take a step back and explain exactly how the body works. So you may or may not know the body can run off of two types of fuel, glucose and ketones. So your glucose is insulin based, that's your sugars, that's carbohydrates, eating all those kind of foods. Ketones are your fat based, plant based foods. So if you can imagine a truck like this artwork here driving across the country, a tiny little fuel tank at the bottom there of his primary fuel because he's eating his carbohydrates, and after a few 100 kilometers he runs out of fuel. Yet there is an abundance of fuel in the tanker, in the back of the truck, and that's exactly what we do every day. That's how it sort of works. So there is an option for that truck to switch over to ketones, and then there would be an abundance of energy. So that's how that sort of works, and that taps into your fat stores and starts burning fat and running off of ketones instead of glucose. So to put that truck on a timeline, again, there's a limited amount of energy before refeeds, whereas ketones is that ongoing production ongoing usage of energy that your body already has. You might see that in athletes running on glucose, your carb load before a competition, and then throughout you're taking the carb gels and the sugars and all those kind of things to just keep on spiking that along and keep on kind of running that little energy pot as high as you can. Likewise with a normal day, you eat a meal, you're hungry 3 hours later, that's glucose. It's just dropped and it needs another refeed to spike again. Ketones is that ongoing production. So the oil tanker in this example can keep on going based on that full load. So Volek and Finney and a lot of the other research talks about this over the last sort of 20 years. A lot of information out there, but your fat tank is infinite or greater than 40,000 kilocalories. Glycogen is as much as basically you can consume, eat, and then your body produces. So you might eat 2,000 calories, but what is that sort of transferring to once it's been processed? So that's why the refeeds come in a sugar-based diet versus a fat-based diet. So that's the facts up until then. That's basically just how it sort of works. If you wanted to give it a go, then there's a protocol to follow. There's some foods to eat. So your high-fat foods are your high-fat vegetables, avocados, your butters, lards, bone broths, things like that. Your carbs and sugars, you know about already, they're everywhere. Breads, quinoa, rice, all those kind of things. How to measure the ketones? Well, we probably know by now that keto sticks aren't that accurate. The glucometer can measure that. So you're eating the foods, now you can actually measure. So it's kind of repeatable and measurable, which is really interesting. What to do next? Give it a go, give it a try. Some people operate very, very well. Everyday people, coaches, athletes are great on sugars, and just it's not a problem at all. Other people it doesn't sort of work for, and we find that to be the majority. So give it a go, but it might not work for you. You might be better off running on sugars every few hours. But at least if you can measure it and measure the results, see if you feel any better from it, see if it solves any existing medical conditions. It's got a track record of dropping body fat, body composition, increased energy for the majority. Any other questions, just drop us a line and we'll try and help out, and hopefully that kind of explained the different processes of fuel. It's hard to understand sometimes all the information out there, and there's recipes and stuff to look at, but what are we sort of aiming for? What are you trying to achieve? So hopefully that helped.